Alright, welcome back. I've got one more quick little skill set to share with you. This is a skill set, and yes, I know the fans going. I hope you can hear me clear enough through all of this. But this is something that I just had, I dealt with some individuals on, and I've been trying to help refine that with these individuals when it comes to dealing with our bad programming, dealing with the issues, our bad habits, our the things that stop us from moving forward. Some of you will get this. Some of you won't. For those of you who go, what are you talking about? I'm going to encourage you to go watch What the Bleep Do We Know? Go listen to all of the audios. Your wish is your command. And to read the book, Ask and It Is Given. So what I've got is a bit of an advanced skill set when it comes to navigating the emotional events that will be occurring very soon. Those of you who already are study in the law of attraction will get this, and hopefully what I share with you today will help you, or help everybody who listens to this, do a better job navigating the challenges that are about to happen. Alright, so if you've read the book Ask and It Is Given, the first half of the book basically gives you the recipe of how things work up here and energetically, and how energy works with your thoughts, and how the law of attraction determines your thoughts based on your choices and your power, your Jedi power, to focus in on what you want and where you want to be and what you want to manifest. This skill set I'm going to discuss with you is not common. It is not well developed within our current population. So this is an advanced discussion. So those of you who have read the book, you'll know that the last half of the book, the processes, is like teaching addition and subtraction in math. You start at the basic steps. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 minus 1 equals 1. You go up and down what I'm going to call the emotional ladder. I forget exactly how it was. It's an emotional scale in vibrational energy, as opposed to what we attract into ourselves and what we are programmed to be in vibration for, or in vibration for, or in vibration for. What have we been programmed? What have we existed in? And how do we navigate that ladder? Because you start at the bottom with depression, and depression is the lowest. When you're down there that low, and you might be thinking I'm done with this. I don't want it. Let me go, because that's the lowest. The next level is anger. Because if you can get up from anger, you can stop self-destructing, and then you can start to turn your focus out. Because I'm gonna emphasize this. You start to turn your focus out. Even though the issues are within, if you're looking outwards, you can be an observation of what's going on around you. So I just had this discussion, and it's clear, so I'm going to walk you through it again, walk you through what I just went through to explain this skill set. Now, in the processes that she goes through at the end of the book, she has you slowly understand the walking up in your emotion, so that you can be in control of what you're vibrating, so that you can start to attract in the higher level vibrational experiences. Right? For somebody who's new, they have to go through the 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 1 equals 3, 3 plus 1 equals 4, and step up that emotional scale, or the emotional ladder, to the highest rung that you can be on, and that highest rung is joy. Okay? So we want to live our lives in joy. And based on all the things that that's going on around us, we know that there is not a lot of joy in a lot of things that are happening based on change and having to experience change and not knowing the other side of that change, and that some of that change we do know is not good change, right? So the question is, we're all getting ready to navigate this, so we need a specific skill set aside from, growing your own potatoes and beets and tomatoes and stuff like that. But to be able to emotionally, spiritually know how to make a choice and when to make a choice. Let me put it this way. There are others that have online expressed the understanding that what change is coming now, this move into Aquarius, this move out of this age into that age, this move that we're doing is spiritual, and that it is energetic. And there were videos out 10, 15 years ago about that when we hit the apex of this change, that it really truly will be about your vibration as to whether you make it through it or not. Huh? Well, that's the power of this skill set. And the skill set is understanding the energies, because what I've observed in the last many years as I've been studying it is that our manifestation based on our vibration is accelerating. And when things really pop here in the next few months, you're going to see things happen so fast that if you don't have the skill set to navigate that emotionally, odds are you're going to get caught up in it. And ergo, why I did the video I just did about staying away from as much of that emotional, vibrational creation, because if you can't be in a place where you're very much in control of your emotion, your odds of not making it through this cycle into the next cycle are going to be pretty high. So, skill set. In the book, she talks about how to navigate. If you're depressed, get angry. Why? Because anger is a higher vibration. If you're angry, choose frustration. In other words, lift yourself up into just being frustrated, because if you're frustrated, you're not lashing out as much as you are focused of observing, because if you're observing things, you're observing things that are frustrating to you. Okay? And it works the other way, going down the ladder. You get frustrated about something, and then it doesn't work right, and then you get angry, and then you're angry, and you still can't solve problems, so you spiral down into depression. Oh, how am I going to fix this? It sucks. Poor me, poor me, poor me. So above frustration, I'm going to put the next rung up there as being challenged. Okay? Challenged is when you have an observation that you don't necessarily know how to navigate. It's challenging. I don't know how to grow these beets. Or it's challenging. I don't know how to set up a trust. It's challenging because there's things that I don't know. Okay? I'm using examples because certain individuals that I've talked to, we've had these as topics, and I want to work through how we think through these things, because it's critical for what's coming as to how we're going to navigate this and how we can lift our vibrations by having our hands on the steering wheel and navigating. Okay? So if you're in a challenging situation, it means you probably missed the second rung. So the third, so the top rung up here is joy. The next rung is observation. The third rung is challenge. Okay? We want to be in joy and stay in joy at the very top of that rung, because that's what will attract more joy to us. Law of attraction. Simply put, I'm keeping it really simple because I want to focus on this skill set. I'm trying to set you up for seeing what you need to be self-observing all the time inwardly, and the skill set to maintain that. Because if you get into, what was it, the teachings, God, I can't remember the guy's name, and he did a lot of talking about being in now, the ever-present now. Even Cliff Highs talked about that. Other people have talked about that when it comes to time. I did a little discussion on that not too long ago about time, being in the ever-present now, because what is your vibration now? Because that tells universe what you're going to what you want to manifest, or things that you want to manifest that are emotionally equal to. Okay? So if you know you want to be up here in joy, the skill set is being in big observation of what's going on and having focus on what you want. So you're always observing, oh yeah, well that's not good over there in that city, that pipeline issue over there for the gasoline, that Texas power plant issue over there, all these things that we've observed should help you focus in on what it is that you want. That's another reason why I did the video that I just did about understanding one part of that focus should clarify a picture of what you really, really want. Because if you really want to stay in joy and not have to navigate the mass of this cycle that I just discussed, you need to be in absolute observation of everything and willing to ask questions. So the rung number 2 is making questions about the observations that you're making. Because if you're in joy and you've made some observations, you're at the beginning point of determining feelings based on what you see. I'll use a little example. Yesterday I had to run up into to my bank, which is an hour away, so that I could make a deposit. Thank you, Jim. Scott, we will be talking soon, hopefully. I'm sorry it's taken a while for me to get there. But I've been focused. My focus is my food. My food is the most important thing. My being able to produce my food. That's why I'm out there working. That's why I'm not working on the apple presses. Because that, to me, is in the end picture of me continuing to be in joy. I want to be able to eat healthy food that I can produce and I don't have counterparty risk. You must understand how important that is. That is so important. As important for you as it is for me. So, how do you navigate these things? And if you can apply the skill set of being in full observation, even though you see not good things going on, but focusing in the picture that is going to be the most accurate for your retaining your step on that high joy, to be in joy of your life, then when you take that back step to that first rung and you go, okay, let me look back here, because when you're up on top, you better be, because of balance, to maintain your balance, you have to be on top of that ladder. You have to be focused on what you're doing up high, because you're up high and you need to be really focused on what you're doing. That's what I'm doing out here. Okay? But occasionally you make an observation because you're up there, you can see a lot of stuff. You're happy, you're high, you're elevated emotionally, and you're observing things. Sometimes you'll see things and you're like, whoa, I can see something way over there, and that might not look all that hot. So you step back on that next rung so that you get a little bit more of a brace, and you go, okay, what do I do about it? And you start asking questions. Now, for me, based on the previous discussion, I did a lot of that 10 years ago. And earlier than that, on a greater level. But this skill set has to be practiced at all phases and all times on all subjects about everything, and it is not easy. But I will tell you this, the most successful people I've ever met, and I've met a bunch, I've met a lot that have succeeded at a lot of things. But even those successful people today, based on my previous video, the one I just did, because the change is going to happen so rapidly in our abilities to navigate that change when it is happening so rapidly, doesn't give us the best amount of time to step back, observe, ask questions. And sometimes I know for a fact there's going to be a whole lot of really successful people in this world that are going to get knocked off their ladders and their butts are going to be on the ground past that depression step. And that's the reason I did the other video just before this. So your skill set, the thing you want to be able to do is to get really, really good at knowing, I'm feeling good, that didn't feel good, let me ask some questions about that so I know whether I need to do something with it or stay away from it. Let me find that good feeling so when I go back up on my joy ladder, my joy rung, I can see everything and be in observation of everything that's happening around me, and I can have focus on what I'm doing so that my joy is here. I hope that's explained well enough. It's not easy to do. Everyone that I've encountered has issues. There's not one person that I've encountered that didn't have issues. We all do. But the ones that have stayed on top of that ladder the most, in their place of joy, had this skill set. And the skill set was to make their observations, internally observe their own emotions based on, how did I feel? How do I feel about that? Well, I'm not sure I feel too good now. Am I not feeling good because I don't understand it? Or am I not feeling good because it's really not a good situation and I really want to be over here and I'm going to focus in on being over here in this situation? That's for each and every one of you to determine. That's your journey. But the skill set to becoming the most successful at whatever you want to manifest is to know when you've gotten that observation and you have to look back and step back on that other rung to get your balance. So you got a little broader stance, and you're not just balancing up on joy. You get that balance, and you look, okay, what do I got to do? Because you don't want to have to step back to the challenge, because that is when you start intensifying the stress of dealing with it. Now, sometimes it's a good thing, because, let's just take growing food. I'm being challenged every year with what I grow and the things that are occurring. And those challenges are forcing me, because of my focus on what I want versus what I know is going on around based on what I discussed in my previous video, my focus is I need to get this fixed. And yes, it's a challenge, but it motivates me to get answers, which means I go back up to number 2 rung and I start asking questions. How did this work? Why does it work? What happened? So on and so forth. So, I guess I skipped over an example. I think I'll let it go. My main point was this. If you can learn the skill set of your emotional control system, or something like, I forget what she called it in the book, your emotional control navigation. If you can start listening to checking your gut and maintaining joy as much as possible and asking a lot of questions, your chances of navigating things are going to be a whole lot easier when things really start to come undone here. And you know, I've said it before in my videos. All circumstances that we've explored over the last decades of our understanding of what can happen, all circumstances will happen. And my contention is this: if you're stuck in a discussion of whether I have to bug out or bug in, it means you haven't been observing enough to ask the right questions to know the answer to that. And what is the true answer is to understand the final results, the end of the math equation. You understand what's going to happen, and the best way to do that is to see history. It's to see what happens in history. And that has been expressed to us in many forms and fashions, and very recently played right out in front of our eyes. Okay? Those of you who have watched the collapse that took place in Venezuela, those of you who have watched the collapse that took place in Zimbabwe, those of us who have read about the collapse that took place in Germany during Weimar. All of those periods were navigated by a few people really well, but by most not very well at all, because they didn't have the skill set of going, okay, well, the grocery store just shut down and prices are going up and I'm losing stuff off the shelves. What do I do about it? They don't go, no, what are you going to do about it to feed and take care of me? And that's the mentality of the majority of them. And that's why I want you to really understand the skill set of navigation, so that, hey, maybe there are less zombies. Anyway, folks, that's enough chitter chatter from me for the day. I hope this gift helps you along with the vision and understanding that I shared in the previous video. It was supposed to be cloudy and rainy all morning. The sun has broken out. Maybe I can get out and get some things done. Love you all. Be in joy. Be in joy. Focus on that joy. Focus on that picture that you have, that you're modifying, and ask lots of questions. The only other caveat I'd add to that is, based on my previous discussion and a lot of other things that we've learned, just know, I'll share this last part. I talk a lot about teachability index. You can learn a lot, but if you don't make changes, you're not teachable. And the teachability right now is high level of willingness to learn and a high level of willingness to change. And the rapidity of the motion of change that is coming now is at a point that you can't do normal functions that we used to be able to do. You can't. There's a lot of things that are being prevented from moving forward, and that's where we're going to go. So, happy navigating. Love y'all. Please leave comments, thumbs up, and that kind of thing, so that maybe algos and stuff will be happy. Y'all take care. We'll catch you soon.